Hi, I'm Kellee B. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Running on Empty, where my gas tank is always half full, or as you may have guessed, running on fumes. Please sit back, put your feet up, and enjoy the journey. Everyone is family here. Please subscribe, like, and share. Today we are embarking on a special mission that will take us back to the 1960s. We will be visiting a very special place in my heart. This place is Montana. It's time for us to travel back to the 1960s. It was a much simpler time. Personal computers, cell phones, and laptops did not exist. I would like to dedicate this video to my mom, Susan. If it wasn't for her, this video would not be possible. The following stories are reflections from my family and friends' past. It is important to share stories from the past with your children and grandchildren, so they know where they have come from and in turn help point them to where they are going. Welcome to the Big Sky Country. Experience the skies at night is a breathtaking experience like no other. During the summer, we would lay outside in the yard and stargaze. This might explain why Montana is considered one of the most authentic locations for extraterrestrial activity in the world, according to Joan Bird, author of Montana's UFOs and Extraterrestrials. Montana's history of aliens dates back to the 1940s. I'm sure that the big beautiful skies and the big open spaces help contribute to this. Welcome to Cutbank, Montana. I spent the first 3 years of my life here with my family. We lived on a ranch 5 miles from the Canadian border. This is where my first story begins. It was the middle of summer when my uncle came to visit my mom and dad on the ranch. My dad was a truck driver, so he spent many days away from home. He came to help with chores and help keep an eye on me. It was late in the evening when my mom noticed light coming from the Quonset buildings. This would not be unusual, however, the equipment buildings did not have electricity in them, so there was no logical way they could be lit up. This went on for quite a while. It scared my mom and uncle. They went to explore to see where the light was coming from, but didn't find anything that could explain it. During that summer, there were many UFO sightings reported on a regular basis, so maybe, just maybe, this explains their experience. This reminds me of another story that my mom shared with me about crop circles. When the story started circulating about the crop circles in Montana, my grandparents were curious, so they took my mom to see them. She said that the ground looked burnt, and she said that nobody knew how they got there. I tried to find information on the web about it, and I found an incident about a crop circle in 1976 in Cascade County, and it talked about it being a single crop circle, and they didn't know how it got there. Crop circles have been documented in history as early as 1678. They were referred to as the mowing devil legend. Crop circles have popped up overnight in farmers' fields. According to the legend, an English farmer was feuding with his worker and told him that he would refuse to pay him the fee he wanted, and that he would rather have the devil himself cut his oat field. The source of the harvesting was unknown, and I guess we'll never know if it was a hoax or if the devil himself had cut the field. There were a lot of reports of crop circles in the 1960s and 70s. They started as simple circles and increased in artistic quality. Unlike other mysteries like Bigfoot, psychic powers, or ghosts, the circles are real. No one knows who creates them. There are many thoughts on who created them. Maybe it's even the aliens. This leads me to another story about my mom and a freaky event she had on the phone when she was up there on that highland close to Canada. One evening, my mom was talking to my grandma on the telephone. It was a normal phone call until she started hearing air raid sirens going off on the phone. She said it was so loud that she couldn't hear my grandma. I asked my mom if my grandma could hear it, and she said that she couldn't remember. Remember, folks, this was during the Cold War era. The Cuban Missile Crisis was still fresh in their minds, so my mom was terrified. This leads me to another story about a UFO encounter that took place while traveling at night along a dark countryside road. Remember, there were no lights out there to brighten your way, just the moon and the stars, and the lights of your headlights on your car. My mom and dad had went to town for dinner. When they came home, they noticed something that was moving in the sky. Next thing they know, the bright orb is following them. If my dad would speed up, it would go faster. If he slowed down, it went slower. They didn't really know what to do. By the time they got home, they noticed it was still there watching. And they continued to watch it as well. And before it was over with, they were able to count 5 pulsing orbs in the sky that night. On a side note, I would like to mention that Malmstrom Air Force Base is located at Great Falls, Montana, which is not that far from Cut Bank. It is the home of the 341st Missile Wing. The base maintains and operates Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles and also operates helicopter operations to support the base's missile mission. This is important because UFO sightings tend to be seen around areas close to military bases that are active. During the Cold War, this was definitely true for this base. After the Cold War, the missile sites were supposedly shut down and filled in with dirt. But that could be another story. Another topic that seems to haunt the ranches is cattle mutilation. It always seems to resurface when UFOs are being seen. In the 1960s and 70s, there were cattle mutilations all over Montana and other states as well. The farmers, veterinarians, and sheriff departments said that they had never seen anything like it. In all the cases, part of the animal's face, called the masks, were removed along with reproductive organs. There's usually no blood. And a strange thing happened is that none of the predators would touch them, which is a really strange thing to turn down a free meal. When investigating the sites, they didn't find any footprints or vehicle tracks anywhere near the animals. And the incisions into the animals were very clear cut and clean. There were no bite marks. There are many theories connecting to the deaths of the cattle. Some of these theories were that satanic cults were involved, the secret military testing, and let's don't forget the UFOs. This brings me to a close encounter by a family friend, Leo Dvorak. He documented his brothers and his experience in a book called UFOs Are With Us, Take My Word. My family met Leo because he was a customer at our store. Over time, he became friends with my grandfather and dad. I loved to sit and listen to his stories that he would share. The book that he wrote tells a story about two boys in North Dakota that made a discovery of a machine in the mountains that was not from this world. It was bigger than a barn and very round. It was spinning and flashing different colored lights. They couldn't get any closer to it because it had a force field around it. He claimed that they had observed the ship throughout their growing up years and gained their trust and began talking to them. His book still could be bought on Amazon. I hope that you have enjoyed listening to the stories that my mom and Leo shared with me. They sincerely believe that these experiences were real. They are authentic people that would not make up stories, so I choose to believe. Thank you for watching my video. Please subscribe, like, and share. I appreciate all of you from the bottom of my heart.